got to play a Minos, Dawn of the Bronze Age. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, because board games are amazing, and that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. Now, Randy, can you tell us a little bit more about this game?
I can. So this Minos, Dawn of the Bronze Age is a 2024 release. Currently it has a Board Game Geek rating of 7.7 and rank of 3381. It's a 1 to 4 player game, average length of 90 to 150 minutes, recommended age of 14 and up. Mostly I think it's because of the iconography, because the game itself isn't, but it does have a lot going on in this game. Mechanics has got are dice drafting, action selection, area control, multi-use cards, and pretty much everything else under the kitchen sink. Design is by Stan Kordonsky. Art is by a whole bunch of people: Hazem Amin, Christina Gehrman, Guilherme Olivieri, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that and I apologize, and Zbigniew Umgelter, which we know that name's come up many times. Published by Board and Dice Games. MSRP of this is $60. The cheapest price online is Game Nerds, that has it in stock for $41.97. Miniature Market's second, but it's out of stock at $48, and Card House has it in stock for $49.99.
All right, so let's talk about the quality of components. So you have your standard dice that come in 3 different colors: gray, blue, red, and yellow.
That's 4.
3 bright colors.
And 1 gloomy one.
Yes. Gray's not a color. It's just
a hue. It's a hue.
It's a hue. It's a lack of it.
Okay.
All right. So you've also got a lot of wooden tokens. You have your little meeples. You have these. You have castles and fortresses.
And they are screen printed.
Yeah, they are.
All the buildings and the farms.
And then you've got your player markers for your dice when you go get them. There's a lot of cardboard chits. A lot. Mm-hmm. With the money, with a lot of tokens. The cards do have a linen finish. They actually are pretty good thickness. Yep. They are shuffled a lot. You probably do want to end up sleeving them.
All of the cardboard and all of the little cardboard boards and everything is linen finished as well.
Correct. You do have an inlaid player board. Mm-hmm. Do you want to call that out for your different bits and things?
It is warping a bit. It's not horrible, but it is.
It's not horrible.
It's bowing a little bit. And then it doesn't really have any setup for tucking, because you're going to tuck cards underneath during the course of the game. And they don't have it where it's inlaid on the back.
Well, that's what the bowing's for.
Oh, that's what the bowing. They planned for that. Okay.
Yeah. Overall, though, I mean, I think it looks excellent. I think it's fine. Is there anything wowish? Not really. So I'm probably going to go with a 6.5, because they did provide nice cards, and I do like the screen printed wood mitts.
I'm probably a point higher, about 7.5, because first of all, this is a retail edition, and you're getting screen printed wood bits. You're getting all these little fort-looking things to put your dice in. You're getting inlaid boards. You got an oversized main board. There's just a lot to this game for a retail version, and at that price point of $50.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I'm about 7.5.
I'll change my score to his, because he does have a valid point on a lot of those things. All right, so moving on to the actual theme. So you mentioned several different artists. It is very cohesive. It's very easy. Like, the art's pretty, but it's not overwhelming, because sometimes we get some of those boards that are gorgeous but so busy you don't know what's going on. This is not the case. It can feel a little intimidating when you first sit down, because that's been, but it's actually not that bad. Overall, though, I really like the theme. It's obviously another civilization building theme. We've seen this over and over, but this is something that we love because we keep buying them. So there's that.
And in all the cards, I mean, I don't think there's any duplicate. Well, maybe there is a little bit of duplicates. I don't know. There's subtle differences. Yeah, there are a few dupes, but most of the art is distinct and it's subtle, so it's not like it stands out. Everything blends together nicely. So yeah, I think, as far as a theme, it's the gameplay is definitely, this could be any theme, but it makes sense with kind of I don't know if it would be Roman or whatever period this would be, but the Bronze Age. It makes sense with the theming that they've done with it.
I think it's Greek.
So this is Greek, as you pointed out, and specifically Crete.
Yeah. So overall, though, I'm really, really happy with the theme. I like it. I like the color palette. I think they did a fine job. Like you said, the cards are unique. It didn't seem samey at all. So I can appreciate all of that. So I'm probably going to give this a 7 on theme. I liked it.
Yeah, what I also liked was when we get to the rule book, it's in the rule book, there's little blurbs about the history. So the name Minos is very likely related to the Minotaur, and the Labrys is the name of the axe, which they believe is tied to the name of the labyrinth, like the Minotaur was in. So they have those kind of references in the book, and I thought that was interesting. So, you know, the labyrinth would be the house of the axe. And if you think about the Minotaur, is usually portrayed as a man body with a bull head with an axe. So it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Little bits of tidbits of history that are in the book are interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your score?
You know, it's not overly heavy, but you know, like I said, it is there as far as
nice.
Yeah, it's probably I'll probably go ahead and give it a 7.5 on this too.
Okay. All right. So moving on to the rule book, Randy.
Well,
how was
there's two
that?
of them actually. So the main book is 24 pages long. The auxiliary book is a solo book, and it's 8 pages long. So they separated the two out. I always like when that happens because then you don't have to worry about this excessively intimidating book. The book has a nice introduction explaining the history and of the game. They've got a little QR code scanny thing, as I call it, to get information about the rules, and it's apparently they're updating that. So if you need to, get they call it the living rules. If you want the latest version,
Oh, that's helpful.
it is. But I always want a paper copy that I can hold. And if you're telling me you're updating the rules now, it's out of sync, which I don't like.
Well, but it might just be clarification, so that might be more helpful.
Yeah. So then the setup is pretty clear on this. It does take a little bit of time to set up because there are so many bits, but most of this is just dumping into pots or whatever you want to store your pieces in, or piles if you're not using them, and then your player board set up. Then it goes through some of the key concepts of the game before it goes through the different actions that you can take, which are all spelled out. They've got these cheat sheets that work really well for spelling out all your actions and your free actions, and then your different phases like income phase and your different sections of scoring and all that. But it doesn't have is anything like the iconography, which is on the back of the rule book, and then the back several pages are the appendices that refer to specific tiles.
But it was quick to learn.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
It
It wasn't that bad. It was a pretty straightforward
A lot of it's
gameplay.
pretty. A lot of the icons are self-explanatory, but there is some
yeah.
subtle differences that if you didn't know, like one of the cards, it looks like it's coming from a stack versus being able to pick, and it's a matter of whether you get it from here or you can choose from either place. And so there's some finite details around the icons that you have to pay attention to, but it's not horrible.
No, it's not that bad. And I would say this is a medium lightweight game. It's not super heavy, so it's definitely nothing like SETI as far as the complexity level. But this is not. It's not bad to learn. Given all of the different mechanics of this game, they did a good job of summarizing it on here for 24 pages. I think it's a pretty good job. And there was no confusion. There was no typos or that kind of thing that I saw. I'm going to go ahead and give this probably a 8.5.
Okay, awesome. All right, so now let's talk about the actual gameplay. So, first, what ends up happening is that all of the dice are rolled. I'm sure Randy has some of those, but we're just doing this for a thing. And then you start drafting the dice. So I'm going to pick one, and Randy's going to pick one. But there's a couple of things that I want to kind of keep track of when I'm going to picking my dice. The lower number on the dice means that you get to go higher up on the individual action tracks, which makes them more powerful. However, if you get a set of 9, so maybe you get a 6 and a 3, or and it's more than 9. So maybe I get the 6 and the 5 here. That's 11, okay? So if I got those 2 dice, after all my dice are drafted, I will get to go up on the blue track. So these different tracks. So it's kind of important to keep track of what colors you've already drafted, and it's not just about the numbers. So just kind of paying attention to that. Now, there are some different abilities that will let you alter the number that you're trying to get to. There's only one house that allows you to do that. I can do them on 6s, for example, over a period of time once you escalate it up. But just kind of keep that in mind. So right now I'm going to choose a blue because it's the beginning round.
Yeah, we should point out you start with, there's 2 variable powers you get. One is starting resources, and the other one is your kind of escalation of power that you can get level up on.
Yeah, so it keeps it different and fresh every
normally
time.
you would draft for those without knowing the game. The first time it says to just randomly shuffle and deal them out. But in the future, we'll definitely want to draft those, because just in case there is a variable power that's more powerful, we don't want to have that. So you have to play with variable powers in this game, which is something I don't like about.
Well, I mean, come on, we like variable player powers.
I like variable powers, but
and you like drafting.
Some of them are more powerful. Is when things get.
Well, that's where you put the starting resources on one end, and you put the powers on the other end.
Yeah, and that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to draft one or the other, but then it goes backwards and snakes back. So they balanced it out. But if you have one uber powerful power, because you were thinking mine was more powerful than yours, and
yeah, pretty much. I mean, but not necessarily. I mean, but I don't think it's huge. I don't think it's like I think I'm gonna draft that over mine.
Yeah,
because mine's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong, but I think you got way more utility out of yours. So I say that with a caveat, right? Like, and I didn't get to, and I don't really know his power. I wasn't really well aware of. So it'd be interesting to play with the different different powers over time. Yeah. So anyway, so I picked the dice. I put my little cube on it. I put it on here. Now Randy over here, he's going to choose a different dice. Now he likes gray dice because gray dice can go towards any color. So you get to determine that color at the end of the round. Now keep in mind that once you use a dice to do that collection of 9, you cannot use it again. So even though you maybe have a gray 4 and red, and there you go, you can't use the gray in both sections.
Right.
So just kind of keep that in mind as you're drafting. Randy, what are you doing next?
Well, I will take the gray 4 since that's what you're telling me I have to do.
No, it's not what I said. I said you like them. You take them all the time.
I could choose any location I want that's not occupied, or I can take the one that Miranda's at and just basically bump her, because a 4 is lower than a 6. The lowest number is going to win. So I will play and bump Miranda just because I can, but it puts her in the middle where there's actually a perk to move up the tracks, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see, what else do I want to do? I'm going to take this 3 blue.
That's a 3 gray.
3 gray. That's what I meant to say, because it's fun. I'm going to go here. Why not?
So just because to show for demonstration, I'm going to take the red 3 and I'm going to put it, but since it's the same value as what Miranda has, I don't bump her. I actually put myself after her on the chart. So I go in the second spot.
Correct. All right, so then I now need, there's still a lot of yellow left. All right, I will take this yellow 4. And you know what? I think I'm going to want to play some cards this go around.
Alright, so I've got 7 going in red. There's no way I'm going to get 2 of these.
Yeah.
I'll take the blue 5, and I'll put this one on the build action.
Alright, I am then going to take the blue 5 as well, and I will go here.
Oh.
He's got one more placement.
I got one more placement. I'll take the red 5. And we will put that on the middle blue right there after
Oh,
you.
that's nice. That's nice. All right, so now it's going to be my turn, and I'm actually going to take the action. Now, I have to play my highest number first. So in that case, that's this 6 here. Oh, but first I forgot we got to math it, right? So I have 11 in blue, and
4 yellow and 3 gray.
7 gray. So I can do 7 of the yellow and 11 of the blue. Because mine's only 6 plus, so I'm fine there. Or I could choose to do 2 blue. So I'm going to choose to do 2 blue to show you guys you can stack. So that 6 right there is covering my 6 because of my special ability, and then I got the 5 and the 3. That again is 6 again. So I'm going to go up on the blue track twice. Now, but I've already used that gray, so I can't use it with the yellow.
Yeah.
So
I've got 8 red, and I've got 5 blue plus a gray wild that could be applied to either one. I will go, I'm already maxed out, so it doesn't much matter because it's the end of game setup we got going here. But I'll go ahead and make it a blue because that's my favorite color.
Okay.
So.
All right, so then I'm going to take my biggest number, which is the 6. Now, if it is tied, I have the choice. So if there was another 6 on the board that I had played, I get to choose which one in the order, but since there is only one, I have to do that. So I'm going to pick up 2 cards and go up on one of the tracks. I'm going to go up on the blue tracks because I would like to be on top of Randy. All right, and then I'm going to pick 2 cards.
That didn't sound appropriate. Okay.
That's the point. All right, now, Randy, you're up.
All right, so my highest is a 5, and I've got 2 of those to choose from. So I will do the build action. So I'll take that. Now the build action can either be used to build something that's on my board over here, and you have to pay the cost on it, but there's options to get discounts based on having resources. So you can collect resources two different types. There's permanent discount resources where you don't have to spend the token. It's kind of just a complete
permanent discount,
permanent coupon you got on that type. But the thing is, you can only use it on cards as many times as that icon appears. So even if you have, like I have 2 wood, I can't use wood twice to discount the cards twice. But if there's something that involves wood, like my boat, on my board, I can discount it twice with the wood, so I could reduce the cost by 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I could pay 3 money and build my last boat. And there's 3 different tracks for boats because there's 3 boats. And I could put it here. I would have to pay a coin to play it there because that's the cost of the entry point. And then I now have 3 different boats that can move up each individual track.
They give you income.
They give you income during
Now,
the game.
caveat, you cannot build a boat unless you have a palace down.
Mm-hmm.
So if you only have 1 palace down, you only get 1 boat. So you have to have all 3 palaces down.
So,
all right.
So I have a second build, and I can now use that to move up a track if I want. That's a build action, or I could build a farm. I'm going to move up I say farm because that's all that's left on my board. There's also forts and palaces you could build if you had them. But I'm going to pay 2 money and go up on the boat track there. So you can, based upon the cost, if you've got the money, you can spend it, but it costs a build action to do any movement of your boats.
All right, so now it would be my turn. My next level is a 4. It's right here. I get to play cards, okay? So we mentioned before that there are discounts based on these icons here. Or you may have these that you've earned throughout the game. These are temporary. Once they're used, they're done. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, so I'm basically going to look at the cards. This right here, it has a discount on the metal. So I have that metal here, so it's going to cost me 3 less. So I'm going to end up spending 5 coins. And I'm going to place it down in the play area. Not to be confused with tucking later on. So that gets there. I get 1 more wild thing. Oh, look, I got another wheat. So now I have 2 wheats. So 2 wheats build a discount.
Yeah.
Oh.
On your farms.
On my farms.
And additionally, when you get the token, you get to compare it to what you have already collected, and based upon whether you get duplicates or not, you get to go up the income
So
track.
this is
number
my
of
second
spaces.
wheat, so I would go up twice.
Yep.
So, and that gives me more income at on the production phase. Now, I would play 2 more cards, and I would have those ready to go for later. All right, Randy, what are you going to be doing?
Well, my second 5 is also a card placement, but it involves moving up a track. So I get to play 1 card and move up a track. Again, I'm maxed out because it was the end of the game and I'd maxed all
so
my
he
tracks.
would basically bounce.
I would get extra victory points for playing the extra track movement, and then I would get to play a card. At the end of the game, I had no cards because I cashed them all. But anyway, that would be the same action as you had.
Yeah. I would have taken
that would
the
have been done
build.
already.
Sorry. But the last and final action that we need to talk about is actually this one. So this is the move. Well, in the wild. We'll talk about the wild here in a minute too. So basically I get 6 placement and movement of workers. So I've got a bunch of workers. I'm going to put them, so I'm going to put 3 out on the board. That's 3 of my actions. And then I'm going to end up moving those 3 into Randy's turf because that sounds like fun. So those are a total of 6 action, to 3 to put out and 3 to move. So this is area control. So if you look on here, your blue chart, how much victory points that a region is worth based on control, and also what it is worth if you're just hanging out and being there.
The game is 4 rounds long, and you score area control after rounds 2 and 4. So you have 2 rounds to build up. And then, we skipped one of my actions, but there's also a card drafting action, which lets you take cards from either the tableau or from the top of the deck.
That was one of my first ones.
Oh,
that
okay.
was my first action.
That was your first action.
Now, the other thing is the wild action. The wild action is, there's only 2 actions or 1 action, but you get to do any of the 4 actions that are available. Draw a card, play a card, build, and movement. Most of the time I've seen people use the play and the build on those free actions, just because.
Well, on the second and fourth rounds, movement is important.
Yeah, that's true too. So that was fun. Overall, I actually really enjoyed this game. I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked the way the cards are used. Oh, tucking. We didn't explain that a bit. So during the income phase on the red track, you get to tuck so many. Basically, you tuck them underneath your board, and you will get the income on the bottom there. And I say income, it's based on, like, for example, if I do an I action, I'll get this thing over here, or et cetera, so forth. So that's a really cool thing. So
it's also the only way you'll score points for the cards.
Right, because you have to tuck them underneath and you'll get the victory points under there. Now, if you have, say you need to tuck 3 cards and you only have 2 in your play area, you can tuck 1 from your hand, but it is the cost of the victory points. So it basically nets you nothing. However, you do at least get production. So I do think it's a little bit of a catch-up mechanism for those that didn't get to play as many cards. You at least get to take them from your hand, put them down. You don't get the victory points for it, but at least you get the income from it. So that is actually super useful.
It's not truly income. It's basically stackable free actions that you can take on top of whatever your die action
but
is.
a lot of them give you free stuff. So income's not the right word. He is correct. So that element is very much like Glory to Rome, but then you also have Coinumber kind of mixed in. So there's a couple of games that are mixed in. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I'm probably going to give this an 8. I really liked it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm teetering between 8 and 8.5.
That's where I was. I was like, oh, I don't know.
I like the multi-use cards. I like the fact that there's all these different ways of scoring in the game. I'm not sure that they're all equally balanced. That's my concern is, if you took a strategy of building versus area control, is that going to net you more? I think you can combine a lot of those things, but there is definite counters. Like, when you build farms, you have to pay workers, which counters your area control aspect. You're going to have to then pair up taking actions to move people back onto the board and recycle them in order to get that same net, but you're losing the points for the area control, is the farm really worth it? You know, so there's.
But you're getting victory points for the farms
You are
too.
you're getting up to 14 victory points that you can score twice a game as well. But it's truly almost a counter to area control aspect. So you're sacrificing some of the points you would have gotten from.
Well, you're sacrificing it when you go after the sea people too. Like if you lose
same thing.
one, So
And
I mean,
there are a whole bunch of free actions we didn't describe that you can take per die, so you can take a lot of different actions that.
Yeah, you can spin an axe to move a single person on the board. You can spin an axe to get the resource that that one of your workers are located on.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend a worker to use axes to attack some of the sea people. We cleared the board, so those aren't out right now.
They give you a perk for doing that. However much axe you spin the axe and you spin the worker because you basically lost one in the combat.
Yeah, basically. No, but overall, I mean, it's a great little game.
It is. Board and Dice has really been knocking it out of the park lately. I mean, at Windmill Valley, we had the Reef game, Reef Project, I think it was called. This one, I think, Board and Dice. It's like now I've got 3 different places I have to go directly to when I go to Gen Con. Go to Capstone. I got to go to DeVere and Board and Dice. Those are my big 3. And it's good seeing all these companies sprouting up, but it's bad for my wallet.
It's really bad for our wallet.
Yeah.
But it's great for our gaming table. So, all right. Well, we had an absolute blast today. We actually really enjoyed this one. Hopefully, tell us what you think about it. Was it good? What'd you think? We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.